Hellhulk just ragdolled Mephisto, and that moment flips the entire Hellvine storyline on its head. Daken, Seth, Hellhawk, Project Hellfire, everything you thought you understood about this arc? Wrong. But demon drama from wild to outright apocalyptic, and I'm breaking down exactly how Seth hijacks Hellhawk, why Mephisto is terrified for the first time in decades, and how Daken gets dragged into a war he cannot win. Let's get into it. Well, before we start the video, if you're new to our channel, please subscribe, because your one subscription motivates us to create more amazing videos like this. Let's jump into it. Our comic opens with a brutal, thunderous scene in Hell's Backbone, Utah, a place that looks more like the mouth of the underworld than anything on Earth. A massive, towering demon brute, the Hellhulk, roars with fury, his body glowing with those concentric rings of hellish power. Chains strain around his ankles as he stomps forward, every movement shaking the ground. Off to the side stands a calm, sinister figure with pale skin and short, dark hair, clearly someone who feels no fear in the presence of this monster. He continues speaking, his words cold and unbothered, but really, there's no reason we shouldn't work together, fighting a common enemy. As the Hellhulk's rage flares, the man explains, Severith served me once. I punished him for his failures, and now he's out for revenge. A close-up shows his wicked smile, horns curling from his forehead as he talks about his former servant with pure disdain. He's a little, foul, petty thing, and he's using the Hellhulk to try to usurp me. Then the ground trembles. A glowing sigil ignites in the distance, pulsing with energy. The horned figure turns, eyes narrowing. Do you feel that? A violent grinding sound tears through the air. Kirk! Like the earth itself is being peeled open. The ground splits, dust erupts, and something begins clawing its way out from beneath reality. The narrator's voice continues, cold and matter-of-fact. This area has long been known as a thin spot, where the separation of hell and earth is frail. The crack widens. Clawed hands and twisted limbs shove upward through the dirt. The energy pouring off Hellhulk is shattering the boundary, and then the horrors crawl free. Gaunt, shrieking, twisted shapes of all sizes. Spiked beasts, insectoid monsters, bat-winged demons with drooling maws. That means demons. A massive, hulking creature steps forward, snarling. And demons mean death. In the haze of hellfire light, more of them gather, swarming, circling, rising like a tide. The sinister horned figure explains calmly, unfazed by the army of monsters. Severith and Hellhulk, they're united, like a brain in its muscle, like you and Bagra-Ghul. A silhouette watches from a ridge, preparing to move. If I can get close enough, I believe I can park this fool and his pet. Later, Hellhulk's power pulses outward in massive rings of energy, washing over the hordes of demons. The blast doesn't kill them, it feeds them. They stagger and twitch, overwhelmed. Such power! It hurts, but the hurt is good. More creatures crawl closer, embracing the agony like an addictive drug. The pain is the pleasure. The waves of energy roll across the wasteland, drawing countless fiends from the shadows. They snarl, hiss, and scuttle over broken ground. A towering blob-like demon steps forward, its many eyes blinking independently as it booms. Who are you who rules these new territories? Who are you who dares defy the Crimson King? The dark figure, calm, collected, and unbothered, steps into view and replies, I'm the one who doesn't hide. I'm the one who shares my power. I'm the one who'll destroy Mephisto when he comes creeping jealously from his stinking hole. The monstrous overseer pauses, then bows its swollen head slightly. Then, I will make your hell my own. If you promise not just power, but your protection. The figure stands silhouetted in Hellhulk's glow, the flames outlining his form like a crown of fire. The massive fleshy demon extends a hand, an alliance sealed in slime and desperation. The horned man accepts the handshake without hesitation. I promise. Thank you. But as their hands clasp, glowing red rings of binding magic snap into place around the demon's wrist. The creature stiffens. The man's voice turns razor sharp. You're bound to that promise. The demon recoils. Too late. A billow of smoke erupts behind them. A mocking laugh rises. Out of the swirling ash steps a slick Mephisto with a grin full of venomous delight. His body reforms from mist as he sneers, Your magic won't hold any power over me. The horn man spins, eyes wide. No! The devil lifts a bright, flaming whip of energy, triumphant and taunting, as I bring this little coup of yours to an end. The ground trembles as the demonic usurper fully manifests, standing tall over the failed conspirator. The lesser demons scatter across the hellscape, chattering excitedly as they fantasize about the horrors they'll unleash once they escape into the mortal world. One hisses with glee, "I'll find a child." Yes, a nice, innocent child. Another slithers forward, claws scraping the dirt. "I'll live under its bed." Yes, and whisper in its ear all night. Yes, until it kills its parents. Others join the macabre chorus, each voicing their depraved intentions. A squat, bloated demon growls, "I like an old." There's so few of the old women's in hell. A lanky, razor-limbed creature giggles. "I'll wear her skin like she wears dentures and wigs and nightgowns." Their grotesque plotting is suddenly cut short. Shh, do you hear that? Boom. A roar rises in the distance, mechanical and burning. And then, free! A blazing motorcycle tears through the horizon, leaping into the air on a trail of fire. Hellverine wreathed in hellfire, gripping flaming chains in both hands. The demons scatter in terror as the fiery rider comes crashing into their ranks. The flaming rider tears through the hordes like a meteor, fire whipping behind him as demons scatter in every direction. As he rides, his narration cuts in. There's this phenomenon called shadow blistering. He smashes through a cluster of demons, his bike erupting in hellfire that burns them to ash. Two shadows will stretch out, more creatures leap toward him, only to be blasted backward by a sweep of his burning chain and reach for each other. His wheels carve burning paths through the soil, every impact sending monsters flying. The flames coil around him like living serpents. Then his voice drops, grim and introspective. Maybe that's a little like what's going on between me and Mephisto right now. He rockets off a ridge, leaving a trail of screaming demons in his wake. Darkness reaches out to darkness and finds a terrible union. Fuck. Mephisto strides forward with smug confidence, flaming whip coiling in his hand like a living serpent. He taunts with a sneer. "You're obsessed with me, aren't you, Severith? I hurt you and you can't move past that." Severith lunges, only for the devil to casually sidestep and lash him across the chest. "You remind me of our mutual friend, Daken. He used to feel the same about his own father, and it destroyed him." The whip cracks, whackish, and Severith is thrown back, groaning but refusing to drop. He raises a glowing sigil, breath ragged. "I might not be able to hurt you." Then a massive shadow falls over him. Hell Hulk steps forward, chains rattling, eyes burning. But he can. Mephisto turns, shocked, just as Severith unleashes the binding spell again. Hell Hulk's leg sigil ignites, tightening around his ankle. Severith rasps. "Yeah!" Another lash sends him tumbling. Wakish, but it's too late. The glowing shackle cracks. Snick, snick. Hell Hulk's chains begin to break. The flaming whip coils around Severith's body like a serpent of molten white, yanking him into the air. The devil stalks forward, savoring every second of the torment. He mocks him with cruel delight. "Do your bones still ache from where I broke them?" Severith is hurled across the ground, skidding, choking, only to be lashed again, sent spinning through the air. "Does your scarred skin itch and burn where I sliced it?" He crashes down hard, rubble exploding around him. Mephisto keeps advancing, voice growing more vicious. "Do your beg and scream still echo in your ears?" Another brutal strike, whackish, flings Severith like a ragdoll. Mephisto Overlord lifts his whip and grins, teeth sharp and eyes blazing. Things will be worse this time. Much, much worse. He raises the whip for a final blow. "I'm gonna drag you and your pet back to hell," and suddenly he chokes, cut off mid-sentence. Horror! Something has grabbed him. Something huge. Hell Hulk drops from above like a red warhead, fists cocked. Mephisto only manages a startled "Harry" before impact. Doom! The ground splits open as Hell Hulk smashes him into a glowing crater, pinning the demon under a tidal wave of pure, burning rage. Mephisto staggers back, bruised but still grinning, still convinced he holds control. Purple energy coils around as he rises above the shattered ground. With a mockingly gentle tone, He calls out, "You have so much potential." Hellhulk snarls, smoke and fury pouring from his body. Mephisto twirls his flaming weapon, eyes gleaming. "You just need the discipline." A massive, glowing sigil forms behind him, shaped like demonic claws. He steps into its center, framed by fire and arrogance that will eventually come. Hellhulk charges, massive, unstoppable, every footstep cracking the earth. Mephisto finishes his proclamation. "When you recognize your true master," he barely gets the words out before spish. Hellhulk smashes through the sigil and launches a devastating punch. Wham! Mephisto is hurled through the air, face twisted in shock and pain. His confidence shattered along with the stones around him. Hellfire carves through the battlefield as the rider's burning chain shreds demons apart. He plows into the swarm, unstoppable, until a burst of sigils detonates beneath him. Flash! He's thrown off the bike as it skids and explodes in flame. He rises from the dirt, only to hear a cold, furious voice from the ridge. "Can I bury you, Daken?" Severith stands there, hands blazing with golden sigils. He hurls them forward, power screaming through the air. "Stay buried." Hellhulk tears across the battlefield, pure rage in motion. He clamps a hand around the devil's throat. Terror flashes, then the beating starts. Crack! The devil hits a rock wall. Slam! He's hammered into the ground. A sigil begins to form. Hellhulk stomps it and him flat. He drags the devil like dead weight, smashing him again and again until the earth caves in. Finally, Hellhulk swings in brutal arcs. Whip, thud, before driving it into the dirt hard enough to shatter stone. Not a fight, a demolition. Continuing our comic, Severith stands over the fallen rider, sigils burning bright around him. His voice is steady, almost calm. "I have a demon inside me." The man on the ground lies within a glowing circle, his arms outstretched, helpless as demonic shapes lurk around him. Severith continues, speaking with a grim sort of acceptance. "At first, I considered it a parasite or a tumor, something I wished I could carve out of me." A creature lunges, skelch, slamming into the man within the circle, its shadowy form erupting into the night. Severith's narration darkens, but shifts in tone. "But I've come to accept that Bagra-Ghul is more like a conjoined twin." A silhouette rises, monstrous, fused, inseparable from him, its presence towering over the flames. He speaks with the weight of someone who has lived too long in agony. "We can't survive alone." Close-ups of his face show scars, cracks, and pain carved into his skin, proof of a long war fought within himself. And our shared pain and mutual deformity can be a strength. The final panel shows his half-human, half-demonic face emerging from the shadows, fangs bared if we lean on each other. Severith stands before the towering, shadow-soaked form of Bagra-Ghul, the demon erupting from the fallen rider's body in a burst of purple corruption. His voice is heavy, full of pain, regret, and cold honesty. "I wouldn't wish our pain, the pain I've suffered and the pain we've inflicted, on anyone." Bagra-Ghul snarls, its monstrous silhouette blotting out the sky. Even Severith, the demon, leans forward, eyes glowing, teeth bared, ready to attack. Severith stands firm, hands raised, sigil circling his fingers. A caption cuts in, because he knows how powerful Bagra-Ghul can be as a weapon. The demon lunges, but before it reaches him, a flaming chain snaps through the air. It wraps around Sever's throat, then coils around his chest, arms, and legs, binding him instantly. His eyes widen in shock. Urk! He's yanked backward, dragged off his feet, helpless, while Bagra-Ghul watches, snarling, unsure if it's next. The Hellfire chains tighten, glowing brighter. The Hellfire chains yank Severith violently off his feet, and he finds himself staring up at a full strike team descending from above. Soldiers, tech, weapons, jets streaking overhead. A grim narration cuts in. Project Hellfire has come for me, along with. A woman lands gracefully, the wind catching her cloak. Severith's eyes widen in shock. Aurora? Before he can process it, one of the soldiers grabs his chains, tightening them. Severith thrashes, "No!" But the realization dawns on him too late. The soldier with the heavy cannon steps through the chaos, firing into the demonic horde. I understand now. Demons charge, screeching as they're cut down. She was never his captive. Aurora moves through the battlefield with lethal precision, deflecting, striking, cutting down demons in a blur of motion. The soldier continues firing, gun blazing, as more demons fall, and neither was I. Hellhulk towers over the battlefield, radiating pure volcanic fury. He crushes the devil in his fist like a rag doll, the ground trembling under each movement. A calm narration cuts in. The Hell Hulk is still radiating power. Nearby, inside a flying command craft, Dr. Spivey works frantically at her console. Sweat forms at her brow as she pushes through the overwhelming psychic heat coming off the raging monster below. It would drive Dr. Spivey to madness if she's exposed to it too long. Her fingers race across screens. Calculations, targeting systems, emotional regulators. But sometimes a little rage, the aircraft shifts position. Cannons preparing to fire. Ta-ka-ka-ka-ka is just what you need. Below, Hell Hulk's bellow rises like a living earthquake. Horror! He slams the devil into the ground with enough force to shatter the earth. A fiery shockwave explodes upward. Fwah! A silhouette is blasted skyward. And then, boom! The impact lights up the battlefield like a miniature sun. The devil plummets downward, helpless, battered, while Hell Hulk dives after him like a living avalanche of muscle and fury. Chunks of rock and earth rain around them as they fall. The devil, bruised and bleeding, still manages a twisted grin. Yes, let's go back where we belong, you and I. As the blazing crater rises beneath them, he snarls through cracked teeth. If you learn to behave. Hell Hulk reaches for him mid-fall, pure rage driving every motion. The devil flips backward into the explosion. Laughing, you'll make a most excellent pet. And then, rum! A violent shockwave erupts as both demons crash into the molten crater. The entire battlefield trembling. The final panel shows the crater, glowing like a dying star, smoke curling upward, and something moving inside. Akihiro rises from the crater, half man, half monster, his body fused with the writhing, many-eyed bulk of Bagra-Ghul. Smoke curls off them both as they take halting steps forward. Aurora approaches carefully. Voice soft, Akihiro, but his eyes are distant, glowing, fixed entirely on Severith. Nearby, the Project Hellfire soldier tightens the chains around Severith's body, pinning him upright. Akihiro steps closer, demonic claws dripping with hellfire. You want to know the power of hell, Severith? It's the power of damnation. The fused monster leans in until their foreheads press together. Man to demon, demon to traitor. And we'll use every bit. A hellish light flares between their chests. At to damn you, Akihiro drives a burning claw directly into Severith's ribs. The chains rattle violently as fire erupts through Severith's body, burning him from the inside out. His scream is lost in the inferno as the flames engulf him completely. In narration, Akihiro speaks with painful clarity. I'll die without the demon nested inside me. Images blur as Bagra-Ghul's form collapses into fire, melting and reforming. As Bagra-Ghul flails from the damnation attack, I feel his being reform inside me, making us both separate and together once again. The demon and the mutant become one silhouette in the flames, bound, screaming, transforming. Akihiro kneels in the rubble, smoke rising around him, exhausted, burned, scarred, but alive. His narration settles into something quieter, more human. That's me surviving another day. Behind him, the team gathers. Dr. Spivey, the Hellfire soldiers, Aurora. Each one battered, but standing strong. Akihiro looks up, finally understanding something he's been blind to for a long time. But maybe I'm starting to realize there's a difference between merely surviving. We see his allies, people who chose to be here with him, people who fought beside him, and living. He rises to his feet, staring into the fire where Bagra-Ghul remanifests within him. Like a phoenix of flame and agony, Aurora steps close, placing a steadying hand on him. Akihiro continues. It's the difference between surrounding yourself with the people who will put you through hell. The Hellfire team closes in, forming a protective circle, and the people who will go through hell to support you, Akihiro breathes in, shaky but determined. He finally chooses connection over isolation. I'm gonna lean into the living. A final burst of Hellfire shows the skull-faced rider, his other half, his demon, his curse burning bright within him. As Akihiro, the Hellverine, the end. Quantum judgment. And that, my friends, is how Akihiro walks out of hell itself and steps into something bigger. Not just a survivor, but the Hellverine. What a wild ride. We had betrayal, demon warfare, soul-splitting transformations, Project Hellfire dropping out of the sky, and a final lesson that hit harder than any punch in this issue. Sometimes survival isn't enough. You need people who go through hell with you. If you made it this far, you're officially part of the Quantum Comic crew. And trust me, we got even more insanity coming your way. So if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, drop a comment with what you want next, and subscribe so you never miss the next chapter in the madness. Because the story of Hellverine, it's just getting started. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.